Hello friends, I welcome you to EPG Pathshala. My name is Dr. Amit Katoch and I am working as Assistant Professor in University Institute of Hotel and Tourism Management of Punjab University. Dear students, I would be taking the module on types of airlines and cargo aircrafts under the paper Cargo Operations and Management. After completing this module, the students will be able to learn about history of airliners, the transatlantic services, the jet airliner, airline business models, types of cargo aircraft and the aircraft and freighter fleets. Firstly, I will discuss about the introduction. Aeroplane has changed the world. The time when first aeroplane started flying, the concept behind it was totally unbelievable that how a heavy object can fly in the sky. Before that, this idea was just illogical. In today's time, aeroplanes are carrying millions of people and tons of material daily with fast speed that helps saving the time. Many entrepreneurs try to commercialize the air flights which would lead to the birth of this air freight industry very quickly. If we talk about the first actual air freight shipping, it took place in November 1910. It was department store from Ohio who shipped silk bolt from Dayton to Columbus. This was the first time when aeroplane competed with express train and the winning result was very clear. It is true that the first shipment consignment was more of testing than commercial trade. The shipping companies realized in very early time that they have got powerful equipment. Quick service and far distance covered in shorter period of time was what air freight industry gave to the customer. Post some years, delivery through air stayed more unusual, but September 1927 was the month when it all changed with first air cargo delivered by National Air Transport from Dallas to New York. After that, air freight quickly touched the sky in terms of business. If we talk about figures, in 1927, air freight weighed in about 46,000, but in 1929 it crossed 2,57,000 pounds of weight. Important fact about air freight is that till that time it survived as air transport only. The cargo only air freight industry was not really flourished until the Second World War. The first air freight only flight was took to the sky by United Airlines in 1940, which helped in delivering mail from New York to Chicago and return. The air freight industry grew quickly after World War II. All freight services were growing up along with commercial airlines. In 1949, many such airlines were licensed by the Civil Aeronautics Board. Not only were the big boys like commercial airlines getting more heavily involved in the business, but the Civil Aeronautics Board licensed 4 such airlines in 1949. Rest small pilots and airlines delivered goods in backwaters of US during that period. Simultaneously, air freight was growing in the other regions also. In today's time of globalization, air freight has become crucial. There are times when goods used to take weeks to travel in different parts of the world. Nowadays, air freight operators deliver material from New York to Beijing or the African bush in just hours and days. Now I will discuss about the history of airliners. between 1931 and 1939. Till 1930, many airlines were flying in a great network of air routes providing services in different parts of the world. Such airlines were Swissair, United, Lufthansa, Qantas, American, TWA, Varig, Wasp, Sabena, Imperial Airways and KLM. Multi-engine aircraft replaced the old post-Great War aircraft which was predominantly designed to carry good number of passengers and for airline services. In 1930s, first sleek metal with modern look airliners came in the market. Douglas DC-3 was the most important airliner that came forward from pre-World War II. In between 1938 and 1939, many important airlines were introduced by Europe. One of them was the Savoie Marchetti 73/83 airliners, but later on, war resulted in bringing the American-made airliners in the airline market. Imperial Airways and Pan American Airways served in transoceanic services which used large flying boat airliners and showed hopeful signs of long-haul possibilities in 1930s. This helped in giving experience for the operators during wartime over Atlantic. Between 1940s and 1949, air travel changed all over the World War II by introduction of flying boat era, vanishing as new land operating aircrafts came by the end of the war. Large air bases having long concreted runway and large aprons were supplied excessively in whole world and importantly in Europe after the war. This resulted in land-based service of airlines naturally. Post-World War, many new airports were designed and they were very much close to the cities of Europe. For some time, pre-war type were used on international service while European routes mostly pressed ex-USA AF aircraft. By the same time, national aircraft industry of European countries was also restarted. The gap between the design of modern civilian types and airlines introduction were filled by converting the war planes. During urgent post-war time, Yorks, Lancastrians and C-47s were used by airlines, and when the war was ended in Europe, these were used on Berlin airlift. New types were expected to be seen at Europe's new airport by the end of 1940s. Start of the BEA European state airline was experienced by Heathrow and Northolt. Viking and Ambassador were included in its new type. Along the extended range, Lockheed's Constellation, Douglas DC-6 and 7s and Boeing's Stratocruiser transatlantic services came of age along the Trans World Airways and Pan American World Airways, flying regularly between London Heathrow and New York. Between 1950s to 1959, the first turbopropeller airlines were launched and they were followed quite soon by the first jet airliners in 1950s. Beginning of jets faced tough time as it was a wrong time to start jet age and also because of pressurization due to accidents. May 2, 1952 on the London-Johannesburg route, the de Havilland Comet 1 came into the services and was the first jet airliner. BOAC flight, which was ancient, was followed by UAT Comet flights between Dakar and Paris, and Joburg was bought by South American to London service in rivalry with the services of BOAC. Comet 1 jets were flown on their Paris-Beirut service by Air France and Comet 3 jets were ordered from de Havilland by Pan American. 3 comets lost during landing accidents resulting in very first comet crashes, and it was because of genuine accident and thunderstorm resulted in the loss of another. The jet airliner was very handy for the pilots, changing from the same old propeller type just like all new aircraft types civil or military had. At that particular time, on January 10, 1954, BOAC Comet 1 broke up during departure from Rome. On April 8, the doubtful thing behind this was formed when the South African Airways Comet vanished at high altitude. This resulted in grounding the Comet 1 jets permanently, and metal fatigue around the window frames were found to be the cause of the cabin disintegrating. Then later on, Comet 4 and Boeing 707-120 was introduced in 1958, which gave a tragic false start to the jet age. Post One Air DC-830 was put into the service from 1955. Tu-104s were used by Aeroflot, and from 1956 test flights having new short haul Caravelle jet were blown by Air France. BOAC Comet 4 was the first jet service all over the North Atlantic, started in October 1958. Just after 3 weeks, Boeing 707 was used by Pan American Flying, started its first operation in competition with BOAC. Tupolev, that is Tu-104, Camel jets were the first sustained scheduled jet airline service which was started by Soviet Union's Aeroflot airline in 1955's summertime and was mainly for the internal routes. Between 1960s and 1969, all the major airlines replaced their old piston engine types with new jet airlines, which helped to increase the hold of jet age during the 1960s. Old and historic DC-7s, Stratocruisers and Constellations were replaced by Boeing 707s, DC-8s, Convoy 880s and VC-1s on long-haul routes. The piston twin types on short and medium-haul routes were replaced by Caravelles, Boeing 727, DC-9s, BAC-111s and Tridents in 1950s. Fokker and Viscount were introduced, which were new turboprop short-haul types, and they became the main type at regional airlines for many where less economical pure jet aircrafts were used. In 1970s and 1979, large body jumbo jets were introduced during 1970s. In the beginning of 1970s, Boeing 707s and DC-8 63s on the long-haul routes were replaced by Douglas Lockheed L1011 TriStars, DC-10s and Boeing 747, which were introduced at that time. Boeing 737 and the Airbus A300 were also introduced during this decade, and they showed their power to the world. And it was in a way the second generation of jet airliners for the medium and short haul routes. Air France and British Airways also introduced the Concorde supersonic